We're joined now by Martin Biron. And Marty, heading into the Olympic break, the Winnipeg Jets seem destined for the draft lottery. But since 6 games, 4 wins, no regulation losses. So is there a path the Jets could sneak into the playoffs?
Yeah, I totally see it. I mean, obviously, it is going to take a lot of work, and you got to get on one of those like lengthy streaks and maybe put together 5 or 6 games in a row where you get like 10 or 12 points, right? But when I look at the Winnipeg Jets, you're looking at catching a couple of teams, the Seattle Kraken and the Utah Mammoth, right? Because the Central Division, well, you're not going to get to the top 3 with Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota being there. But you know what? Seattle and Utah, you don't know what to expect out of them. Maybe they're going to feel that pressure. Winnipeg is battle tested. They've been in the playoffs. They've had their ups and downs. They know how to handle the emotional roller coaster that it could be. And you're going to play Seattle once, and you're going to play Utah once. So maybe there's a couple of points, that you can get to get yourself closer to a playoff spot. You're 5 points out right now, and obviously, you're going to need some help, and there's a few teams between you and the playoffs. But I really feel that this is not out of reach, that with a couple of weeks of solid play, maybe just add up to what you've been doing, 4-0-2 in the last 6 since the break. Just continue, chipping away at it. And before you get to April, maybe you're within a couple of points and anything can happen in the last 2 weeks of the season. So I can see a path for the Jets to all of a sudden say, we're in the playoffs and we're going to catch the teams that are in it right now.
Okay, so it is possible, perhaps a little bit tough to climb back into the playoffs. But if they do, Marty, with Connor Hellebuyck and the talent up front, is this a team that could make noise?
Well, obviously, Connor Hellebuyck kind of quiet some of his, critics with being able to win gold at the Olympics. And now you say, oh, I would love to see Connor Hellebuyck in the playoffs and see if he's finally figured it out, these big games, these pressured situations, and be able to turn in some of the Vezina and Hart Trophy, caliber performances that we know he can do. So yes, with Connor Hellebuyck, once you get in the playoffs, he can get hot and you can win some games. I do feel that depending on where you would be in the wild card, and maybe that would be a blessing. Somehow, if you get into a wild card spot and you have to go through the Pacific Division as opposed to be in the Central Division and having to play the top 3 dogs, well, maybe that's a path that you can get all the way to the conference finals and then have to play one of those top 3 teams in the Western Conference that are sitting in the Central Division. So again, over the last few years, the Winnipeg Jets always were in the Central Division playoffs and against tough teams. Now maybe they can find a path to the Pacific Division and get themselves a little farther in the playoffs.
Okay, we wait and see. Hellebuyck has allowed 2 or less goals in 4 straight starts. And of course, if he plays anything like he did for Team USA at the Olympics, then you really got to think the Jets do have a chance.